Hi, I'm Mark, and today I want to talk about how the British government deals with the darker sides of UK history. Rishi Sunak does not want to offer an apology for Britain's role in slavery and colonialism. Instead, the Prime Minister focuses on other aspects. And that means that British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has rejected a request for his country to apologize for slavery and colonialism. No, I think we should focus on understanding our history in all its parts, not running away from it, but making sure now that we have an inclusive and tolerant society for people from all backgrounds. That it was what Sunak said at the weekly PMQs in Parliament on Wednesday. Picking apart history is not the right way, he said. He responded by commenting on a question from Liberal Democrat MP Ribeiro, Addie, whether he would make a full and meaningful apology for our country's role in slavery and colonialism and a commitment to reparations payments. Well, British colonialism refers to the period of time when the British Empire controlled and governed many territories around the world. British colonialism began in the late 16th century with the colonialization of Ireland and continued until the 20th century, when many of the territories gained independence. During the period of British colonialism, the British Empire controlled a vast network of colonies and territories across the globe, including India, Australia, Canada, South Africa, and many countries in the Caribbean and the Pacific. The British Empire also had a significant presence in Africa, where it controlled territories such as Kenya, Nigeria, and, as I already mentioned, South Africa. The British colonial administration was characterized by a policy of direct rule, which meant that the British government directly governed its colonies and the territories through a system of appointed governors and officials. This system was often accompanied by the establishment of British institutions and cultural norms, which were intended to promote British values and ideals. British colonialism was marked by a number of controversies, including the exploitation of natural resources, the exploitation of native populations, and the forced implementation of British cultural and political values. Many of the territories under British rule experienced social, political, and economic upheaval as a result of British colonialism, and some continue to struggle with the legacy of colonialism even today. And the British Empire played a significant role in the transatlantic slave trade, which involved the capture and transport of millions of African people to the Americas and the Caribbean to be sold into slavery. The British Empire was one of the largest participants in the slave trade, with British ships carrying an estimated 3.4 million enslaved Africans to the New World, and that between the 16th and 19th century. The British were not only major slave traders, but also slave owners. In the colonies they controlled, such as Jamaica and Barbados, the British established vast plantations that relied on slave labor to cultivate crops such as sugar, tobacco, and cotton. Enslaved Africans were treated brutally and subjected to harsh working conditions, often resulting in illness, injury, and death. The British government abolished the slave trade in 1807, and slavery itself was abolished throughout the British Empire in 1833. However, the legacy of British involvement in the slave trade and the exploitation of enslaved Africans continues to have lasting effects on many societies today. The British Empire's role in slavery has been subject of ongoing debate and controversy, with some arguing that the British Empire was responsible for creating and perpetuating systems of inequality and exploitation, and that continue to affect marginalized communities today even. Others argue that the British Empire played a crucial role in the eventual abolition of slavery and the promotion of human rights and equality. Well, they were part of the start of it. To argue that they were the ones ending it, But I just gave you a very quick and very small overview of this, just to show that you have to deal with your past in your country. And I'm saying this as a German who, in my time in school, I've been, as you know how pupils are, I felt tortured by all the classes about the Nazi regime. But it is necessary to make people aware. And some people are not making aware often enough. I see that with the right-wingers idiots, especially in East Germany at the moment. And it's the same with the British. And I learned about too few or never mentioning anything about the colonialization of Ireland in British schools. Colonialization and this slavery topic has to be part of history classes in Britain as well as the Nazi regime is part in the German history classes. Otherwise, you can't deal with the past of your own country. And we must never forget one thing, and that is not something I said. A very wise person said this. If you ignore history, you are doomed to repeat it. And that is so true. And the people ignoring this here in Germany are the ones that we all have the feeling they are trying to repeat it, and we all try to stop them. But this danger is everywhere. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.